Alright, what is up my friends? Welcome! Complete set review for Duskmourn House of Horror. We went over all the colors so far, white, blue, black, red, green. Now we're doing Multicolor, always a very exciting section. And of course we go over all the commons, all the uncommons, all the cards of the set, limited, constructed, give it all of our awards and more. And I want to remind you all, of course, don't forget, Bronze and Mythic starts release day, 24th at night. First draft, don't miss it. I am pumped to draft this set, and it looks like a really fun limited format, so that's going to be really, really exciting. But let's get right into it, right? Multicolor cards are always very, very fun, and let's hop in. It's a very important set for me. Obviously, this is the format for Worlds. I'll be playing in Worlds in next month, which is Duskmourn Standard and Draft. First up, we have Arabella, Abandoned Doll. This is the signpost uncommon for Boros. Of course, for all you limited players out there, every set has at least one gold uncommon that kind of tells you what that color pair cares about limited. So if a doll here is a 1/3 for 2, whenever it attacks, deals X damage to each opponent and you gain X life, where X is the number of creatures you control, power 2 or less. So this is basically just like the Rot Caller Squirrel card from Bloomburrow, which is quite good. That was a rare, this is an uncommon. Card's good, it is legendary, it does not have an evasive effect unfortunately. This card's just good, right? You play it, it counts all creatures, including itself. So it's a 2/1. Sorry, a 2/3 with half lifelink by itself, and doesn't name any more, which is cool. Card's good. It's good, great limited card. Constructed, not really good enough, I don't think. We need haste, some other ability, but for limited, this card's great, and the linchpin for Boros. Is Boros going to be good in limited? I'm not sure, honestly, but we're going to find out. But yeah, we'll see. Next up is one of the green signpost uncommons in Baseball Bat. This is an equipment. Whenever it enters, attach to a creature you control, +1/+1. Whenever it attacks, tap up to 1 target creature. So, green-white is all about survivals and the survival mechanic, which wants to see your things tapped in your second main phase. It's to survive combat or tap in some other way. This is kind of an aggressive card that can tap your opponent's blockers, but can also tap your own stuff for survival, which is kind of cool. This card's fine. This card's reasonable enough. Similar to Thunder Lasso in OTJ, right? But yeah, cool card, good limited card, not for constructed, but yeah. Best Beastie Beatdown. Next up, red-green sorcery. Red-green is all about delirium. And choose a creature you control and a creature your opponent controls. Delirium, if you have delirium, put 2 counters on your creature. And then creature you control deals damage equal to its power. So if it's just a 2-mana bite, if you have delirium, it grows your creature. Great limited card if you're in a delirium deck. Super, super huge. Constructed, sorcery, speed, bites are not very good constructed, but great limited card for sure. Broodspinner is our Golgari signpost uncommon. I can't take this card seriously. It's got literal googly eyes. 2 mana for a 2/3 reach spider, so great stats overall. When it ETBs, surveil 2. And then you can spend 6 mana and tap and sacrifice it to create a number of 1/1 black and green insect tokens with flying, equal to the number of card types among cards in your graveyard. So this card is just great. This card's like a 2/3 reach for 2, but ETBs or surveil 2 would already be awesome. And then having this like buyout for like 5 or 6 tokens, maybe in the late game, is awesome as well. Phenomenal limited card. Constructed, I don't think so. But I think it's a little closer than it looks, honestly. Probably not. But great limited card. Great signpost uncommon. Green black, all about delirium and grindy stuff. Disturbing Mirth. Rakdos signpost uncommon. EDB, you may sacrifice an enchantment or creature if you do draw 2. Then, if you sacrifice this thing, Manifest Dread. So these obviously play very well together, right? Play the first one, sack creature, draw, and then you play the next one, sacrifice this, Manifest Dread, and draw is awesome. Powerful card, great in multiples. I think this card's got a definite shot in constructed. Red-black sacrifice decks of various types have always been good in various formats, so I think this card's got a definite chance. If you get to draw 2 off this and Manifest Dread, that's insane. It's really good. So, great limited card. Possible constructed card, just looks really fun to play with too. Dragon to the Roots is the other Golgari uncommon that calls out Delirium by name. This is 4 mana, destroy a non-land permanent. If you have Delirium, it costs 2. That's obviously good. I don't like the idea of this card in Constructed because the 4 mana side is way too bad. But in limited, 4 mana kill on non-permanent is good, and 2 is great. So I think this card's pretty good. For limited, Constructed though, not very excited about it. Maybe like a whatever or 2 of is like a flexible removal spell, but kind of eh. Fear of Infinity, our Dimir signpost uncommon. Dimir is all about eerie effects and control. This is a 3 mana 2/2 flying lifelink that can't block, which is normally a terrible type line in limited. But it's a flyer and a lifelink, so you will attack and gain the life back, which is kind of cool. Whenever enchantment EDBs, or you fully unlock a room, you may return this from your graveyard to your hand. This is a really, really good grindy card. Think of this card more like an enchantment than a creature, where you kind of just play it, and then every turn you drain for 2, and then you can sacrifice it, or if they kill it, you can get it back later, which is kind of cool. So, card's kind of cool. Doesn't seem particularly powerful, but definitely a good card for blue, black, and limited, and one to build around. Gremlin Tamer, one of the 2 signposts in blue-white, is this human scout 2/2, has Eerie, make a 1/1 red Gremlin token. That's very good. Obviously, Eerie make a token's excellent. Blue-white's all about Eerie, playing enchantments, getting triggers for it. It's not an enchantment itself, which is a thing to watch out for with these Eerie cards, because you can't play too many payoffs on enough enablers. But this card's very good, obviously. Outside shot and constructed, but great limited card. Growing Dread is one of your 2 blue-green signpost uncommons. Blue-green for an enchantment with flash, ETB Manifest Dread, and the enchantment says every turn a permanent you face up, put a +1 counter on it. So, blue-green's all about Manifest Dread, flipping for value. This card's kind of gas, honestly. 2/2 flash Manifest Dread's actually just kind of a fine card by itself. And then the bonus you get from the flips is great too. If there's some sort of Manifest Dread like flip deck in Standard, this card will probably go in it. That being said, that's a bit of an if, but this card's great. Really, really powerful uncommon. Also plays well if you can sacrifice the enchantment for value. It triggers Eerie. The card's great. The card's really, really good. Inquisitive Glimmer is your other Azorius signpost uncommon. This is a 2/3 for 2 that makes your enchantments cost 1 less and your unlocks cost 1 less. This card's bonkers. Similar to Jukai Naturalist in the last enchantment set as a cost reducer for enchantments. It's a 2/3 though, so it's more durable. These sort of cost reduced effects are great. This card's excellent. Definite playable card constructed. Great card and limited. This also makes all of your limited enchantment creatures cheaper, which is much, much better too. Card's awesome. Really, really powerful. Just great card. Intruding Soulrager is our first Is It signpost uncommon. This is a 2/2 vigilance. Pay 2. Tap, sack a room. This will deal 2 to each opponent and you'll draw a card. So this is kind of a weird card because the rooms are enchantments that want to stay in play theoretically, and you want to keep it to the other side of it. But this makes a lot of the less palatable rooms a lot better, right? So there's a room, 1 blue, surveil 2. Play that thing, play this thing, sack it and draw a card and deal 2. That's pretty nice, honestly. And a 2/2 for vigilance for 2 is fine. We'll see if the room deck is good or not. If it is good, this card's very good, but it's very, very limited to only that deck. But if you're blue-red, you just like have a few rooms and play this card, it's fine too. So we'll see. I'm very excited to try rooms. I hope it's actually good and not a trap, because it looks really, really fun. Kaito, Bane of Nightmares, is not a signpost uncommon. Kaito returns as a Planeswalker. We have a 4-mana Planeswalker for loyalty. This is a Planeswalker if it has Nijitsu. So you may return an unblocked attacker and pay 3, and put this thing on the battlefield for free, tapped and attacking. During your turn, as long as Kaito has 1 or more loyalty counters on him, he's a 3/4 ninja creature and has hexproof. Not indestructible, important to note, because a lot of Planeswalkers have that. +1, get an emblem, pumps all your ninjas. 0, surveil 2, and then draw a card for each opponent who lost life this turn. -2, tap a creature, put 2 stun counters on it. So, this is obviously insane and limited, as all Planeswalkers are. Does a lot of good things. In Constructive, this card is kind of weird, right? It doesn't protect itself particularly well, and Planeswalkers also don't, like a Ninja Planeswalker is very weird. I need to have a creature, it's attacking, it's unblocked, it survives, it gets in, but like now there's no blockers to protect it on the backswing. Just weird. Weird card, obviously. But the abilities are pretty good. The emblem is also awkward because there aren't many ninjas in Standard. There's like 1 or 2 otherwise, so like, doesn't really do a ton. This feels like a commander card. I know I keep saying it, but whatever. And then the Surveil draw card part's kind of cool and plays well with the attacking theme. So, like, if you are able to be aggressive with this card, that's cool. That being said, though, this card feels similar to the old Kaito, where it's like a Planeswalker that's good if you're attacking, but not amazing otherwise, but it costs 4 instead of 3, but it ninjas for 3. I don't know, honestly. This is the kind of card you should play with it. But if I had to put a rating of this card right now, gun to my head, I would say this card will play very, very similarly to the old Kaito, where it's a pretty good Planeswalker and change of pace threat in a tempo deck against opponents not attacking you, but otherwise kind of just meh. So, we'll see. One of the weirder cards in the set, definitely one we gotta play with. Next up is Marina Vendrell. This is a Wooburg 3/5 human warlock. When it ETBs, reveal the top 7 cards of your library. Put all enchantment cards among them into your hand and the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. And you can tap it to lock or unlock a door of a room you control only as a sorcery. So this card can not only unlock your expensive rooms, it can also lock your rooms so you can do them again, which is kind of cool. So the card is very powerful. If you're playing a bunch of rooms, you're playing a bunch of enchantments, this card is a 3/5. It can draw you 3 cards and then do a bunch of cool stuff. That being said, it's a Wooburg legend, so it's not exactly easy to cast. I don't know. There is that rampant growth room, which is kind of cool. I would not be surprised if there's a 10 new brew deck around this card. I would also not be surprised if this card is bad. And I can almost guarantee right here, right now, that this card will definitely derail an episode of Bronze Mythic 100%. And I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. Looks like a really fun card. I'm glad this card's in the set. Looks really fun. I'm in. Sign me up. Back to our signpost uncommons, we have Midnight Mayhem. Boros, 4-mana sorcery. Make 3 1/1 gremlin creatures, and then all gremlins gain menace, lifelink, haste on a turn. This card is really good because a lot of the Boros cards care about creatures with power 2 or less entering the battlefield. This makes 3 of them, and they get lifelink and haste, and all your other gremlins get lifelink and haste too. The bodies aren't great, but this card seems pretty good. Good limited card, or not much more, obviously, but Nashi, Searcher in the Dark, is the other ninja in Standard. Dimir for a 2/2 menace, rat ninja wizard. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, you mill that many cards. You may put any number of legendary and or enchantment cards from among them into your hand. If you put no cards in your hand this way, put a counter on Nashi. I mean, it's a powerful card. It's 2/2 menace that can draw cards potentially and grow. But I don't know what sort of legendary ninja enchantment Dimir deck that you're building in Standard. So if it finds a home, I guess, good limited card for sure, but it's just weird. There's a lot of hoops here, you know? And it's obviously worse than Psychic Frog, yes, but we'll see. Niko, Light of Hope returns also. This is a Azorius Mythic 3/4 for 4. Whenever ETBs make 2 shard tokens. Shard tokens are a unique token. They're clues that scry first, which is obviously very powerful. They're also enchantments, so they trigger your eerie effects too, which is a good thing. Pay 2, tap and exile target non-legendary creature you control. Shards you control become copies of it until the beginning of your next end step. Then return to the battlefield under its owner's control in the next end step. So this card's really cool, right? So you flicker a creature, you get 2 copies of it, and then it comes back in and can retrigger your ETBs. That being said, I don't think that matters in Constructed, honestly. I mean, the shards are good. You know, shards are like clues, so ETB make 2 clues is pretty good. I don't know. Again, another legend where it's sort of like, it's a powerful card, but I don't know what deck would play this card. But it is quite powerful, obviously because of that. It's a great limited card, like a bonkers limited card. But yeah, like, if it's just a 3/4 for 4 that made 2 shards, that would still be like kind of cool, you know, but yeah, I'm not sure. Looks really cool. We'll see. Oblivious Bookworm is the other Simic signpost uncommon, and this card is one of the most ridiculous uncommons in the set. 2/3 for 2. Beginning of your end step, you loot. And if you draw a card. And if a I'll just read the card. I'm trying to paraphrase. I'm just gonna read it. Beginning of your end step, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card unless the permanent enters the battlefield under your control face down this turn, or you turn the permanent face up this turn. So the floor here is 2/3 end step every turn loot. That's great. Like, that's just really good. And then if you had a manifest or a face down card or whatever, ETB or flip, you just get to draw a card. This card's insane. Like, insane. Ridiculous and limited. And I think that the manifest deck might have a chance in constructed, honestly, because of how good some of the enablers are. But yeah, card's really good. Just play morphs, draw cards, do your thing. Awesome card. Peer Past the Veil is a red-green instant. Discard your hand, draw X, where X is the number of card types in your graveyard. So a Delirium kind of card. This card is quite powerful, but it's hard to figure out what deck would want this card. Red-green isn't really like a graveyard color pair. Red-green cares about Delirium in this set, but not about like filling the graveyard or stuff like that too. So like the discard your hand part's kind of eh. Obviously, if you just like dump your hand, attack a bunch of stuff, play this, draw 3 or 4, it's kind of cool too. But like 4-mana draw 4 is interesting. So I don't know. Very powerful card, but very bizarre card, and not sure what to do with this card. In limited, this card's great. Just like empty your hand, draw 4, cool, awesome. But constructed, the power potential is there, but I just don't know what you'd ever do with this card. It's very odd. Rip, Spawn Hunter. Ghost Busting is a legendary Selesnya rare, 4 mana for a 4/4. Survival, many of your second main phase, if this is tapped, reveal top X cards of your library, X its power. Put any number of creature and or vehicle cards with different powers from among them into your hand. Rest go on the bottom. This card's obviously very powerful. We obviously have vehicles in standard. Unfortunately, oh, never mind, I'm sorry. Obviously, saddle creatures are also creatures. Card's really good. You know, just saddle your Bronco, attack. This thing is tapped. Draw some cards. Card's very powerful. Could definitely see this being a card in standard because the saddle deck wasn't quite there, but all the cards are available from OTJ. Absolute limited bomb. Card's just good. Rite of the Moth. We got trap card, folks. All right. I knew on Burial Rites. This card ain't on Burial Rites. All right. Black, white, 1 sorcery. Reanimate a creature with a finality counter on it. Flashes back for 3 white, black. So we have 4 mana to cast, 6 mana to flash back, but not easy mana at all. Very hard to splash this card. This is a way to turn for Atraxa in standard. Most Zombify effects in the last few years have been 5 mana or more. So this is the rare way to do it for 4. That being said, it's a very hard mana cost, and it also has a finality counter too. The flashback part shows shades of Unburial Rites. For those who don't know, Unburial Rites is 5 mana Zombify, 4 mana flashback, do it again. That was more of a value card. You were often just bringing back Thragtusk or Restoration Angel with that card. Didn't need to be a big idiot. This is not a very good value card. This is mostly just a reanimation card. And that's might not be good enough, honestly. So it's a great limited card, but for constructed, I think this card's not really good enough. I think I'd rather just play a 5 mana Zombify that has a bunch of upside than like contort my mana base for this 4 drop. So I think it's kind of bad. It's obviously playable, but I think it's just not very exciting. Rite of the Moth, good limited card though. Sawblade Skinripper. Holy moly, folks. This is a ridiculous limited card. Rakdos Signpost uncommon. 3 mana for a 3/2 menace, so just good body in general. Pay 2, sacrifice a creature or enchantment. Put a +1/+1 counter on the Ripper. Then your end step, if you sacrifice 1 or more permanents this turn, this deals that much damage to any target. So if you just sack one thing, you get to ping for 1, make this thing bigger, awesome. Sacrifice more things. Now you're just machine gunning things down. Obviously, Red-Black is all about sacrificing enchantments and so on and so forth. And this is just a limited banger. Constructed, probably not, but limited of his cards, an absolute house. Shrewd Storyteller is another signpost uncommon for Selesnya. 3/3 for 3, survival. Second main phase, if you survived, put a counter on a creature. Card's fine. A little unexciting, but good uncommon for the survival deck. Nothing crazy, just good. Shroudstomper. Good lord.
Good lord.
Oh my.
Gigantism.
There are so many good reanimation targets in black-white, it's ridiculous. Black, white, 3. 5/5 Death Touch. Whenever it ETBs or attacks, each opponent loses 2, you gain 2, and you draw a card. This is an uncommon. This is just another card to put in your graveyard for your draft deck and reanimate. Busted, castable too, and it's just really, really good. It's a mini Archon of Cruelty, you know? Like, it's just a really powerful card. Constructed, no, but limited, this is a premier card with the Reanimator deck. Big game. Skullsnap Nuisance, 2 mana for a 1/4 flyer. Eerie. Surveil 1. Blue-black is kind of like Eerie Control. It's a pretty good control card. It's a great blocker. Puts cards in the graveyard. Obviously does cool things. That being said, it just isn't that exciting. It's fine, but, you know, it's a limited card to play it in your blue-black deck. You're not super excited about it. Like, you're happy to play it. It's good, but you're not, like, first picking this card being like, hell yeah, I'm blue-black now, you know? The Jolly Balloon Man. Horrifying. Horrifying. 3 mana for a 1/4 haste. Pay 1 and tap this to make a token. It's a copy of a creature you control. Except it's a 1/1 red balloon creature. In addition to its other colors and types, has flying and haste. Sacrifice it, it makes end step only as a sorcery. This card is kind of gas, honestly. This is like a Kiki-Jiki effect. Having haste is huge, monumental. And this card, you get to copy the ETBs, dig in for 1, copy the attack triggers. There's a lot of powerful things this thing can do. With ETBs, you know, there's a million good cards with this, obviously. So, card's quite good. Haste is a big deal. It effectively costs 4 mana, but this card's good, honestly. Great limited card, too. Excited to try this card out and see what it does. Yeah, the art is just messed up. The Swarmweaver, a Golgari rare, 4 mana for a 2/3. Whenever it ETBs, make 2 insect tokens of flying. Pretty powerful, so 2, 3, and 2 flyers for 4 is great. Delirium, as long as there are 4 more card types in your graveyard. Your insects, spiders, get +1/+1 and Death Touch. Phenomenal limited card, because the floor here of 2, 3 plus 2 flyers is great. The ceiling is high, but I don't think high enough for constructed, honestly. But it's a cool card. Definitely a powerful limited card, fun card. Undead Sprinter. I'm not sure about this, but this card's kind of gas. 2 mana for a 2/2 trample haste. You may cast it from your graveyard if a non-zombie died this turn. If you do, it's a 3/3. This is just a aggressive creature that comes back over and over and over again in a color pair that loves to sacrifice things, loves to kill things. This card just looks really good to me. You know, and your floor here is 2/2 haste for 2, which is like totally fine. And then later in the game, I'm going to cut down your creature and bring this back. Cast it again, 3/3, go. Just keeps coming back over and over and over again. Whether they're killing your things or you're killing their things, both are cool. The only caveat here is non-zombie. So it actually wants to play with other non-zombies, not in a zombie deck. This card's great. Aggressive, powerful, good in sack decks, good good synergy stuff, good base rate. Card's great. It's really, really good. Best in show for Multicolor. Not like super sure. There's a lot of cards that are good, but no, there's like no huge standout. But this is the card that I like, and I'm picking it. So Sprinter's the card. Best in show. There you go. And obviously an absolutely bonkers limited card. Victor Valgavoth's Seneschal. Orzhov, 3 mana, 3/3, has Eerie. It has sort of like the Omnath, 1, 2, 3 triggers where Eerie, but enchantment ETBs or unlock a room. Surveil 2 for the first time it resolves. Second time your opponent discards a card. Third time, put a creature card from your graveyard on the battlefield under your control. So kind of cool in that it works towards itself. You're surveilling your own big things to the graveyard and making your opponent discard cards, and then you can go bam. You can steal stuff, kind of cool. Obviously very commandery, but this card is a great limited card. It's not that insane to be able to maybe get it going off. There's a common room that makes a glimmer token, so it's 2 Eerie triggers right there, which is kind of cool. But yeah, cool card. Constructed, probably not, but it's a good limited card. It's fun. Wildfire Wickerfolk. I adore this card. I really am stoked to build red-green Delirium and aggro. This is one of 2 cards in Magic's history to have 3 power and haste with no drawback. And the other one was a vanilla 3/1. This is a 3/2. It's also an artifact, which is very important because if it dies, it helps with Delirium. And if it has Delirium, it's a 4/3 trample haste for 2. What are these numbers? I don't get it. My old boomer brain can't handle the power creep, folks. I think this card's great. It's ridiculous and limited. I think it's had a real shot at constructed also. The best part being it's an artifact creature. So you play it on turn to attack with it. They have to kill it. And then you're halfway there for Delirium, which is great too. Can't go over the throat it. Love this card. Huge fan. Can't wait to play it. I think this card's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. Great stuff. It's not best in show, but I love it. Maybe I should have best in show, honestly. I do like the card a lot, but... Winter Misanthropic Guide. Another commander card. Jund 4-drop, 3/4, Ward 2. Then if your upkeep, each player draws 2 cards. And if you have Delirium, each opponent's max hand size equals to 7 minus the number of those card types. So whatever your Delirium is. This just feels like a commander card through and through. I don't know why you ever put this card in a 60-card deck. It's kind of cute with Shieldred. It's kind of cute with the Needle Guy, but like those cards don't need any help to be good, you know. Like, so sure. Yeah, sure. In limited, this card is interesting. It's pretty powerful, and Delirium Effect is reasonable too. I don't know. Playing commander, have fun. I'm sure I'll play it in Bronze Mythic at some point. Zimone, all questioning. You like math, right? Any math nerds out there? Cynic 1/1. Beginning of your end step. If a land ETB'd under your control this turn, and you control a prime number of lands, create Primo, the Indivisible, a legendary 0/0 fractal token, then put that many plus counters on it. So, thankfully they added the prime numbers on the card here. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29, and 31 are prime numbers. There are a lot more prime numbers than that, just so you know. But they couldn't fit them all on the card, so they stopped at 31. But, I mean, this card's cool. Like, it's reasonably powerful. You play your second land, make it 2/2, cool. Oh, I guess you would have, I don't know, whatever. But, if you have 5 lands in play, you get a 5/5, cool. But... I don't know. It's a weird card. It's gonna be great in limited. Constructed, probably not. It's just, I don't know. I got nothing, folks. I got nothing. On to our rooms for Multicolor. There are 3 of them. First up is Restricted Office and Lecture Hall. So, the office is a 4 mana. Unlock this door, destroy all creatures power 3 or greater. That's obviously just a fine card. You know, if that was just sorcery, it'd be reasonable. If that gets an enchantment, it's a little extra upside, I guess, but that's totally fine. And then Lecture Hall is 7 mana, all other permanents have hexproof. That is heinously overcosted. So clearly you're playing this card for the Restricted Office if you are going to play it. And the Hall is just like whatever. That being said, there are a lot of really good board wipes in Standard, and this card seems kind of whatever. It's funny because like destroy creatures power 3 or greater feels like a Boros card in this set because it cares about creatures power 2 or less. And it's like a Azorius card. I don't know, whatever. But this is mostly a sorcery. Is what it is. Roaring Furnace and Steaming Sauna is next. As our sleeper card, we have a pretty cool one here. This is a rare. 2 mana for enchantment room, obviously. If you unlock this door for the Furnace, you deal damage equal to the number of cards in your hand to target creature an opponent controls. Oh shit, sorry.
Waka waka.
Sleeper card, I said sleeper card. So very similar to Fires of Victory, whatever that card is, which is not a great card in and of itself, but when you add on the Steaming Sauna, which is 5 mana for no max hand size, end step, draw a card, that's not a card you play by itself. But as far as like a mana sink for the mid game, that's pretty good, honestly. So I think this card's sweet. Cool sleeper card. I think this card's more playable than it looks. It also, in older formats, plays well with Karuga and Cascade. This is, a 7 mana value card for your Karuga deck or your Cascade deck that costs 2 for a removal spell, which is kind of cool. So has value in old formats thanks to the mana value of the card overall. And I think the card is also just pretty sweet in general. And then also great and limited for rooms stuff too. Card's cool, honestly. I don't know where it goes exactly. I just think the card is neat, and it's a good sleeper card because it could show up somewhere, and that'd be cool. And then our last multicolor card is Smoky Lounge or Misty Salon, another blue-red room. Again, blue-red rooms is the archetype. This is the other blue-red signpost uncommon. So this is also a really, really roomy card, right? So we have 3 mana for Smoky Lounge. Beginning of your first main phase, add red, only to cast rooms and unlock doors. Now, that is extremely limiting, but extremely powerful. Where this is 2 mana every turn. You need to be playing a ton of rooms, but if you are, this card's insane with them rooms. So we'll see. And then Misty Salon here is 4 mana for a unlock this door, make an XX spirit token with flying. Where X is the number of unlocked doors among rooms you control. So again, unlocked doors are things you've already paid for. And that's fine, honestly. Make a 3/3 or a 4/4, that's great. So this is like the card, if you're all in on rooms, this is the card for you. If rooms are not good, that's bad. But if rooms are good, this is a linchpin and limited. And then constructed, I'm gonna try it. I don't know if it's gonna work. I'm gonna try it. But that's your Smoky Lounge Misty Saloon cards. So to recap, our best in show is Undead Sprinter for multicolor. Our sleeper card is Roaring Furnace Steaming Sauna. Our trap card is Rite of the Moth, and there is no Bombin Common because there are no commons in multicolor. YouTube folks, call us coming up. Like, comment, subscribe, support the content. Let me know what you think is your best in show. We got call us coming up or wrap this thing up. Let's do this.